We live in amazing times. When I was a college student, cable TV was a luxury and the internet was a new thing. Now we can jump online and find almost anything at any time in an instant. I don't even bother with cable TV anymore. This makes it exciting to both teach and learn about economics, since we can just grab our phones and see economic concepts playing out in real life. That, and I'm a little bit addicted to YouTube. I was browsing car videos and I ran into a video called Why Custom Builds and Show Cars Are So Expensive by a YouTube channel called Autotopia LA. I'm going to give you a link to the video and I'm going to show you some shots from this awesome video. So this guy runs a shop that builds custom cars, and these things are rolling works of art. Check out the channel. The cars are amazing. They've got top-notch production team. The video quality is fantastic. It's as good as what you might see on television. The video that I'm talking about is a bit of a rant, and it's a response to something that happened in the comments section on a previous video. So apparently people jumped into the comments and said that the cars he builds are not worth what it costs to make them, or that you can buy a better car for less money. He tries to explain that those things don't really matter for his customers. And he goes on to explain that cost, price, and value are not the same thing. He's a little bit inaccurate with his terminology, but he's clearly a natural-born economist, and honestly, most people are, since we live every day in an active economy. So what are price, cost, and value? Let's start with cost. In economics class, when we talk about cost, we mean does it cost to make something. Oftentimes, people will ask what a thing costs, and they mean what they have to pay in order to get it. But cost is about making things. So this guy pays these skilled technicians to make custom pieces of rolling art. He's got amazing tools and expensive equipment, and he's got to sell the cars for more than what it costs to make them. So you can think about the cost as the lower bound for what someone should pay for something, because you can't on a regular basis go out and sell things for less than what it costs to make them. That's a pretty basic business 101 kind of concept. Now, every now and then, the guy might misbid what it costs to do a custom job and end up selling something for less than it cost him to build it, but he's not going to stay in business long making those kind of mistakes. And you can see by the way his business is thriving that he's not making that mistake. Now let's look at value. There's an economic concept called willingness to pay. Your maximum willingness to pay is the most you would pay for a product. It's not the same as what you would actually pay. It's the most you would pay. If you've ever been to an auction, you've seen this play out. When the auctioneer says sold, you know what the item is worth. You might think that the buyer paid too much. That's because the buyer paid more than your maximum willingness to pay. Just like with our custom cars, people look at what the cars sell for and they think, no way. That car can't possibly be worth that much. But it's worth that much to the person that went to the custom builder with a big wad of cash in hand and asked for a piece of rolling artwork, a one-of-a-kind piece of perfection. Price by default must be in between cost and value. There are a lot of factors that get us to the price, such as the price of a substitute. You can buy a new car from a dealer that may outperform one of these exotic show cars. You can buy a used show car, but what you've got to remember is that none of those things are a custom-made special just for you car. So this custom shop can command a higher price than the price you might pay for these substitutes. We call it product differentiation. They're selling a unique product. And when you sell a unique product, that means that you have power over the price of the product. We call that monopoly power. Sometimes we call it the ability to set price setting power, or price making power. So we're dealing with someone that has a unique product, so they've got some degree of what economists would call monopoly power. And that brings us to another related concept that's really what the video is about. It's about a thing called price discrimination. It's a concept with an unfortunate name. I need to make another video to fully describe price discrimination, but for now, just understand that even though the name sounds evil, it's not. A better name would be consumer filtering. The idea is to use the price mechanism to filter out consumers based on how much they value the product. And that's kind of what prices do. In this case, we're dealing with a special type of price discrimination called perfect price discrimination. You might hear it called first-degree price discrimination. It happens when a customer buys just one thing at a time, like the auction that I mentioned earlier, or like when you go buy a car at a car lot, or when you get a custom-made car built just for you. The seller's goal is to figure out how much the buyer values the product. What is their maximum willingness to pay? It's important to remember that finding out the customer's maximum willingness to pay does not mean that we're ripping the customer off, because the customer won't pay more than their maximum willingness to pay. They're paying that much because they think it's worth that much. That's the idea behind value. They value it at that level. That's what maximum willingness to pay means. In most cases, people don't have to pay their maximum willingness to pay in order to get something. In the case of the custom car market, the buyers are typically people that are very well off, that approach the builder looking for something very special. Often it's something that's sentimental, a way to mark a special occasion, a hobby they're passionate about, or maybe a status symbol. These types of customers are looking for something special and they're willing to pay for it. They're not the kind of people that really care that you can buy a Corvette that's just as fast for less money, because they want something that nobody else has for some special reason. So they value it higher than they value that Corvette, and are glad to go out and pay someone to custom build one of these unique cars. So there you go. There's a great example of someone thinking like an economist out in the real world, and a good example of how cost, price, and value are not the same thing. Thanks for watching.